It's 3:03 in the morning, August 8th, 1963. The night is dead, quiet as a Royal Mail train rumbles its way from Glasgow to London. Inside, a postal worker is busy sorting letters. Just another routine night. Suddenly, the train grinds to a halt in the middle of nowhere. At first, he thinks nothing of it. Try and stop. But as the minutes tick by, a strange feeling starts to creep in. He opens the door to his compartment, and his blood runs cold. The car in front of his is gone. There's just empty tracks stretching into the darkness. That's when the adrenaline hits, because he knows what's in that missing car. Cash. A lot of cash. 2.6 million pounds, packed into mailbags, waiting. Half a mile down the track, a group of men is about to pull off one of the boldest heists in history, and you're about to feel every single second of it. The mastermind was a man named Bruce Reynolds. Born in London in 1931, life was tough from the start. His mother died when he was 4, and his father remarried quickly, leaving Bruce to navigate a chaotic stepfamily. By 8, he was already taking small amounts of cash from his stepmom just trying to survive. As a teenager, he bounced between rough neighborhoods with no real home and a thirst for excitement. He tried the Navy, but was rejected. Journalism was too boring. Retail was a dead end. Then, at 17, he found his calling. Crime. It started small, but Bruce had a natural talent for it. By 18, he was already a legend in the London underground, getting caught a few times, but always learning, adapting, and getting better. By the 1950s, Bruce had crafted his persona, the gentleman thief. He wore sharp suits, dined at fancy restaurants, drove a sleek Aston Martin, and planned his crimes. Like a chess grandmaster, he was dreaming of the perfect score, his masterpiece. That's when a tip came from an informant known only as the Ulsterman. A Royal Mail train was carrying a huge amount of cash from Glasgow to London on August 8th. This wasn't just any shipment. It was the post-bank holiday backlog, millions in untraceable bills. For Reynolds, this was it. This was his Sistine Chapel. He assembled a crew of 15 men, a diverse group of specialists. There was a carpenter, a silversmith, a retired train driver, and even a florist. Each man had a specific role. They spent months planning at their headquarters, a secluded spot called Leatherslade Farm. The farm had a perfect view of the surrounding Buckinghamshire countryside, so they'd see any police approaching long before they arrived. On the night of August 8th, they rolled out in trucks and Land Rovers painted army green. One group went to Berdego Bridge to cut the phone lines, while another tampered with the railway signals, turning them red. As the train approached, Reynolds radioed the signal. "This is it." The heist went down with military precision. They ambushed the train driver, tied up the mail staff, and formed a human chain to move the money. Bag after bag of cash was passed from the train to their trucks, all under the cover of darkness. In just a few minutes, they had grabbed 120 of the 128 mailbags. That 2.6 million pounds, back in 1963, would be worth around $96 million today. Back at Leatherslade Farm, they started counting the money, their hearts pounding with excitement. They thought they were untouchable, but that's when the cracks started to show. The police were mobilizing faster than they expected. Radio broadcasts mentioned the army might be involved. Panic set in. They had planned to repaint their getaway vehicles, but they ran out of paint halfway through. They had to send someone into town on a bicycle to get more. The next morning, news of a massive reward for information hit the airwaves. A local farmer, suspicious of the activity at the farm, tipped off the authorities. Leatherslade Farm was compromised. The gang had been told to wipe everything down, but in their haste, they left clues everywhere. Fingerprints on a ketchup bottle, on the Monopoly board they'd been playing. The police found 311 prints in total. The flying squad, an elite team of detectives led by the relentless Tommy Butler, was on the case. The arrests began. One of the robbers made a rookie mistake, using his share of the loot to rent a property in advance. Another was chased by police across rooftops. But Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind, was like a ghost. He moved his family, hid his car, and created decoys, always staying one step ahead. By October, half of the gang was behind bars, but Reynolds was on the run. He fled to Mexico, then the US, Canada, and France, living a lavish lifestyle, burning through cash. But his luck couldn't last forever. By 1968, he was broke and had no choice but to return to London. On November 8, 1968, the police finally caught up with him. Detectives knocked on his door. When Reynolds' young son opened it, the game was over. In January 1969, the gentleman thief was sentenced to 25 years in prison. But the story doesn't end there. Some of the others had their own dramatic escapes. Charlie Wilson, known as the Silent Man, broke out of prison in 1964 with ladders and grappling hooks, vanishing into the night. He made it to Canada, changed his name, and even got plastic surgery. He was living a quiet life until 1990 when his past caught up to him, and he was shot and killed. And then there was Ronnie Biggs, who became the most infamous of them all. His story on the run is stranger than fiction, a saga of escapes and celebrity that turned him into a folk hero. The Great Train Robbery wasn't just a crime. It was a story of audacity, meticulous planning, fatal mistakes, greed, and survival, all colliding on one dark August night. They gambled with fate. Some won, and others paid the ultimate price. Every detail makes this a story you just can't look away from. If you love crazy true crime stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. Thanks for watching.